Change the policy. The policy is that we include the CAO on questions. The question goes to Brent. Always include the CAO. Agree with that?
And also I think that we all agree that we should be kept informed of all these issues too, and not just the mayor. I think everyone agrees with that too. Our council, well, it's fine, you can be left out. You'll always oppose, so that's fine. But we want to be informed too.
We've had a discussion. I don't know that we're going to make any changes.
Do you agree?
It's always been
You
that.
want to be informed?
I love being informed. I hate email though.
The next item 3 is on just some clarification.
This was just a question, actually, I believe it came up at the Forest Town meeting. Somebody just asked about Verizon report. So I just thought, well, if I'm answering one person, oh, the council might be interested in the answer. So I would just set this, it basically just says as soon as whatever required it to be confidential is no longer in place, whether a purchase price has been determined or something, as long as there isn't a confidentiality clause, it's reported at the next open session. This was just basically for your information, and it does note, if there is a confidentiality clause, whatever that pertains to, it will never become public unless that clause is removed for some reason. So just in case you need to answer back to your people.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir.
Okay, clarification.
The next one, again, is just clarification. It's conflict of interest, which really, the correct term is pecuniary interest, because that's all that it really relates to, although it doesn't define it in the Act, which I thought is interesting.
Hard to say.
And I did find an example online, so please don't take this verbatim. This is just an example of what pecuniary interest is. But my purpose for putting this in is it is up to the member to determine whether or not he or she has a conflict. I can't advise them, the mayor can't advise them, and because you are responsible to defend yourself if there is a court case, no one should advise you. So that's just a little bit of a caveat. The insurance, that is a direct quote from our insurance that basically says it doesn't apply to any claim for reimbursement unless the charges are dropped. So my inference to that is that you would pay it up front and then you would get some claim back if you were found innocent. So again, it is up to you to determine when or you should or should not declare a pecuniary interest.
Okay.
The minutes, there's a few things on the minutes, and we try to provide as much information as we can. We have always in the past, we've asked this question every couple of years. You want a little bit of a blurb in there to sort of put the minutes in perspective. However, sometimes there's too much information, not enough information. So do you want to go with the format that just says no comment? So it would just be item 1, whatever the name of the staff report, and then the decision made. Item 2, staff report, and then decision made.
Councillor Underwood got his arm up first.
Yeah, I came from a background where minutes were absolutely sparse, and the whole idea was about the business of the meeting, not a historical record. We have more than that nowadays. We have people making historical records all the time, right? So I say let's go absolute basic, and it makes it easier, and some of our discussions, otherwise, they're going for it. Now, statements, I think if somebody wants to make a statement on the council reports or something like that, there has to be some place where a person can make a statement to feel important. But that should be done in the proper place.
You had your hand up, sir.
I did. I agree with Councillor Underwood. I think, and this is where we'll save time on recording votes if you don't have to write down. I agree. I really don't see the need of trying to capture the spirit of a discussion. I think that the bottom line is, did it pass or didn't? What's the direction of staff? That's it. And whatever people say doesn't matter.
You can always take that motion and go back to the report that it was from.
Well, I like
part
that.
of the agenda.
Yeah, I like that we're doing that now.
In the reports, talks to the motion, and that's where
exactly.
the report. But if there's a motion in the minutes, the discussion, the report that caused that motion is in the previous agenda.
Yeah.
It's online.
We've had
It's available.
discussion on amending minutes based on all the stuff.
Yes.
And I don't remember all this said all the time. So I think this is the easiest way of handling it.
Pardon?
Yeah, did it pass or didn't it?
The clerk is the official. So we're saying minimize the minutes.
If we could have a vote on that, I'd like everybody's concurrence on that.
Councillor Russell.
Yeah, I agree with the minimizing of it, but we do have to get past the, excuse me, an interesting point, which is council presentations too, you know. When I was sitting with Doug here one time, you had something you prepared and read to us, remember? Like you get a statement, I get that was a statement, right? Sometimes there's reports from council, right? There's different, and I think, you know, how do we record them in the minutes, especially when they might come as, you were sitting beside me, so obviously it wasn't in our council agenda, so there's that. If we're talking about reporting, we'll have to come up with the variation on that. The fact of the matter is, I think we should hire this gentleman here because he's an official record keeper now. That's another part of the
Official record is the clerk's record.
Oh, I understand that, but the fact of the matter is, and I've seen it in reports out there in the press that people they're actually doing their own, right? I mean, the council, whether they hire somebody or they do it in staff, it doesn't matter. The point is, those two things go together, because the discussion will be seen somewhere now, because it is seen somewhere now. It wasn't in the past. So if you're gonna minimize, you have your maximization, you say on your website, that's where you can see what the salient issue was, who talked to the issue, et cetera, the record is correct. So if we got, those two things are figured out, let's not oversimplify and take away when we should do it fully. It's, you know, I don't know how Carol can think, I mean, she can figure that out, but I think simplifying the minutes would be, because we've got into too many arguments. Arguments about minutes and who said what, or this should be added to. This has been ridiculous. Like, why? That should be nothing. We just record what.
So if you want to go through A, B, C, maybe that's how we should do this, because we're jumping from statements B or A. You want to just go through the subsections and vote?
Deputy Mayor.
Although theoretically.
This is on the minutes, minimization, right?
Yeah.
If I understand this correctly, like if an issue comes up and I have written out my comments in advance and I read them, then that officially can go into the minutes. But no other casual, off-the-cuff, extemporaneous comments would be in the minutes. So, let's say for cell towers, if I had put together a little official point of personal privilege and said my little word, that would have to be in the minutes, but your comments that are casual, off-the-cuff wouldn't be in the minutes because it's sparse. Is that correct? Is that the way you want it to be?
You made the different distinction there when it was a point of personal privilege that makes that you can put your statement in on a point of personal. That's a different.
But I can just say that, you know, King Cell Towers, point of personal privilege, here's my
On what's
statement
the
about
personal
cell
privilege?
towers.
Yeah, you'd have to just.
What's the personal privilege?
It's words that have been used that you take offense to. So
That's
personal privilege.
personal privilege is words that you've taken offense to.
Well, I can make my argument whatever it is, right? So technically I could.
Well,
No, you can't make a point of personal privilege unless some member or some recording has offended you, the words they
Well, I could say
said.
that, okay, this report, something in this report offends me.
Personally.
From the staff, personally, it personally offends me what's been said in this report. And then I can read out my little statement. So I'm just saying, this is, I'm being devil's advocate right now. Theoretically, I could do that and have it recorded in the minutes.
If the chair agrees with you.
oh, okay.
Well,
If the chair doesn't agree.
you can't not say I don't have a personal offense.
Oh, yeah, you
against
can. Then you can appeal to council to overrule.
Yeah, that's right, and that could be overruled and then.
Councillor Underwood.
So what we're talking about, points of personal privilege, is taking umbrage on something versus having a statement. If you have a statement, that's fine. You can talk to the press, you can talk about it in council and all the rest. Now, if you want to clarify a previous statement or make an apology or something like that, we do have a place to do that, like we say in councillor reports. You can say something, and you can ask to have that put in the minutes. Now then, we've got to be careful here, because the whole idea is otherwise everybody's going to be standing up and having a platform. Right? We're on a political campaign, we're going to be doing a little campaign for 4 years over every single issue, whereas what the minutes are for is to describe the business of the day and how we came out in direction to the people. We can have all the opinions we want, but not everything we say is all that important when it comes at the end of the day of the business. We may not agree with it, but we can say all kinds of things, but whether or not, right?
So then it's just not a written statement as it states here.
Well, it's a
It's
bit much, a written
So it's
statement.
so that it's
Let's stay A, let's stay on A.
Stay on A.
Standing, yeah.
Okay, so we're agreed, and you'd like a motion to go
I'd like direction.
direction.
I'll move that future minutes be recorded to reflect without note or comment.
Second by Councillor Russell. Questions on that? All in favor of that?